Welcome back to episode 307 of the Guy and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about my and Doug's and Gunner's and Andy's recent trip down to Georgia, down south of Savannah down there, to hunt some hogs.
Yeah, buddy.
That was lots of fun. First off, I want to thank our bandwidth sponsors. I want to thank Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to provide the best shopping experience for everything firearms with over 13,000 products from over 400 top brands. Primary Arms carries a complete selection of rifles, handguns, firearms parts, shooting gear, apparel, and more. Every order comes with a commitment to superior service backed by fast shipping and an expert support team. Serving freedom since 2008. Find out more about Primary Arms at frn.deals, DEALS/PA. Also want to thank Firearms Radio Network for sponsoring all that content for you guys to download at your convenience over there on iTunes and all these other feeds. If you've not checked out other shows that the Firearms Radio Network has, please do. Reloading Podcast is a great one. We like Shooting is a popular one, and there's a buku more. We appreciate you guys checking out those shows over there. Also, don't want to forget Patriot Patch Company. Patriot Patch Company has an enormous selection of patches and signs, and they make our patches. I've got them quoting me some new shirts, and we've got they got all kinds of, I got piles of stickers and stuff over in front of you. That's just piled up all around me. They got Make It Rain stickers and Colonial Pocket Dump. I mean, they are so creative. Checking those guys over, do a great job. So check them out if you've not heard of them before. If you have heard them before, tell them thank you for sponsoring our show. PatriotPatch.co. This week's Gun and Gun activities, Doug. What have you been up to?
Well, on the God side, I've been doing my Sportsman's Daily Devotional this past week. Sunday, I missed church because we were out of town doing a little hunt. Actually, we were driving back about church time, so trying to get back home. But on the gun side, of course, everyday carry, hog hunting trip, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and we got invited down with my buddy Andy down in Savannah, where we go down there. And thanks for the invite on that. We had a blast.
Yeah,
I wish it hadn't rained on the last day, but hey, let's see. I've been doing some stuff in the garden. I think last time we did the show, I had just got the garden in the ground on Thursday before we were going down. And I was out there looking at it today, and all my beans are up, and I got nice crooked little rows going down through there that I thought were pretty straight that apparently ain't.
Well,
but hey,
as they get bigger, you won't be able to tell it.
Nah, and I don't care anyway. It doesn't matter. They came up. That's what's the good part. Let's see. So I got all that good and planted. Been messing around with the ham radio. Got to talk to you from my handheld. You got the new Pi Star in your truck, so that works quite well. I guess you hotspotted that off your phone, didn't you?
Yeah. After I figured out how you have to change in the iPhone, you got to make sure you're on 2.4 gigahertz because the new iPhones run 5 gigahertz on their hotspot. So you have to. There's a little switch down there. You got to make sure it's clicked to dynamic something other. That way, it makes sure that you can use. It's called maximize compatibility. Maximize compatibility. That has to be on, or it won't work because it will do it on 5G and it won't connect. It won't talk to it.
Well, it worked pretty good the other day. I talked to you all the way from Savannah all the way to Kentucky. All the way through the little back roads and stuff. As long as you had cell service, you were good. You were talking, Sue.
Yeah, we got up into Tennessee. We didn't have up at 111 up the middle of the state. There's not much population in there. So cell towers are far and few between, so we lost a lot of signal in there. But other than that, the rest of the way, once we hit Kentucky, we had good signal.
Good deal. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Oh, I got a new place to hog hunt down here close, well, fairly close to the house. It's about 40-minute drive. It's out in the country, but a friend of mine told me I could come out and hunt. He had hit me up the other day, and he'd put some pictures out. I don't know, back during deer season, of a bunch of hogs on his feeders. I was like, hey, I can come take care of that problem for you. And he kind of laughed. He said, yeah, maybe. He texted me the other day. He goes, how much protein am I going to have to feed these hogs before you come kill them? I said, dude, all you got to do is say the word. So he said the word, and off I went. And I put a camera in Tuesday night, and I sit till about, I don't know, I probably out there till just a little bit before midnight, and all I saw was deer. It was deer after deer after deer, no pigs. I was like, okay, it's par for the course, no problem. Got back to the house. I'm still getting pictures off that camera constant, and no pigs. And then last night, deer, and I got up this morning looking at it about 2:00. A big boy showed up. He's probably a 250-pound boar. He was by himself. That one was. So if he shows back up tonight at that time, guess where I'm going to be tomorrow night?
That's what time I got my boar at 2:00.
Yep.
Or boars, I guess, or
your boars. But so I'm gonna take him out, man. I'm gonna get him. He said, man, you just shoot him, let him run off for all I care. He said, I can't stand them. They're tearing his fields up and eating all of his protein. He's got one that's so big. He's got a protein feeder sitting on top of a 4x4 post. And I sent you a picture of it earlier. And the feeder where the tubes are probably hits me about chest high, maybe a little bit lower. He's got a picture of a boar that's in with a bunch of other hogs that is sitting on his butt and got his nose stuck in that hole in that feeder tube eating. And that's a reach, man. That's a big old hog.
Yeah.
I said, ooh, let me see him.
4 foot, isn't it?
It's pretty tall.
It's above your waistline. It's about.
Oh yeah,
it's up towards above your navel there.
Yeah, it hits me. The tube on the feeders. It's one of those gravity feeders. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the name of it. It's got 4 PVC pipes that turn and come down on each side. It'll hold. I think he said it'll hold 250 pounds of protein pellets, and the deer just walk up to it and they stick their nose up, stick it in there, and they can eat the pellets out of it and go on. But that hog can reach up there and get them out of that thing just sitting on the ground. That's how big he is. I was like, whew.
Probably they don't knock that thing off there.
I know, right? So I'm going to get him. He, I put that 6'5" Grendel on him, put one through his gourd and see how he likes that. Well, what you been doing? I know part of it.
Well, daily Bible reading. Had weekend with you and Andy, and Gunner went along. And it was a great weekend. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Let's see. Went to my mom's for her birthday on Wednesday. We had, let's see, what else? Had church security on Wednesday. Excuse me. That was last night. And we been on the ham radio a lot, talking to local nets, and I've been talking on that America Rag Chew, America RC or America Rag Chew. There's like 40 people on there like all the time, but nobody ever talks on it. I think me and you're the only one that uses the thing. So I'm just going to use it.
Just like listening to us.
Yeah, they just like sitting around listening to us talk is the way it seems. So I did a little bit of that. As you were talking earlier, we got that Zoom spot working in the truck. Larry Jones, local ham here in Kentucky, he's not that local. He's down there by what is it? Like Barkley, like
mm-hmm.
What is it? Not Barkley.
Cumberland, isn't it? Is around Cumberland?
No, he's closer to the other lake. I forget what it was called. I'll think of it here in a second. But he's just down the south side of Kentucky, down close to the Tennessee line. But he's been helping you and me both get our hotspots working. I had it working for a long time. They just just needed to update. Then he tried to help us get it running on the way down to Georgia, and no luck. And then and he said, "Hey, I think it's the wrong megahertz." And so he was the one that figured it out, and we played around with the settings till it started working. So I've been using it ever since. So every time I go anywhere, I was going to Glasgow the other day and talking on American Link, talking on Rag Shoe, and all that. We had so while we were all in Savannah, my wife got to take care of 3 baby calves. We had one that was born like right before we left, like a day or two before we left, and then I had another one born Friday night or Saturday morning. I guess it was Saturday morning, and the cow rejected it, wouldn't nurse it, kept trying to go to another calf, would headbutt it, and all kinds of stuff. So she went, her and my daughters went over and separated them and got the cow and calf up in the upper lot. My wife is a city girl. She was born in Louisville. She don't know nothing about farming. And so I'm proud of her. She went there and separated the cows out, got the cow separated out, and got hold of some neighbor farmers who helped her out. Good friends of ours we should go to church with, and they came over and helped her out. Had another calf born Sunday, and another calf born Sunday while we were gone. We got back Sunday night about 9 o'clock. Me and Gunner got back from Georgia, I guess around 9 o'clock or so. I was going to check into the net, and I thought, man, I go check on this calf. Went over there, and he was in a corral. They put him in a corral with the mama, trying to get him to nurse so that she would take him and accept him. And she beat him up pretty bad. He was in bad shape when we got there. So we got him, Gunner and I and Chris got him out of the corral, got him in the barn, and he's pretty rough shape. We put him there, tried to give him a bottle. He could barely drink, and let him rest that night, and went back the next day, tried to get him up, and he took a bottle. We thought he was going to be okay, and all of a sudden he started passing blood, and he just kept getting weaker. He took about 3/4 of a bottle of first feed that morning. That afternoon, he took about a third of a bottle. That night, we went back again, checked on him, and he was so weak he couldn't even stand up. Then he died Tuesday night, and so I buried him Wednesday morning. And we took the cow to the market, and on Tuesday I took her because I don't want no cow that's going to reject her calf and act the fool. She could have grabbed a hold of the corral she was in and put her nose underneath the corral panels. These are big, heavy bull panels that we got. Lifted them things up over her head and went underneath of them.
Oh.
She's a big old girl. We took her to the market. She was 1,290 pounds. She's a big for a Holstein cow. So she sold on Tuesday night. Checks in the mail. So got rid of her. Had to bury the calf. We had another one born Wednesday. All 4 of them were bulls. So we got 3 bulls remaining out of the 4. And I was over checking on them today. Whole lot of farm stuff for you people who don't care about farming. I'm sorry. that's what my week's been like. Let's see. And then of course we'll talk about the hog stuff here in a minute. EDC carrying the STS Staccato C, and they carried it all weekend in the swamps and everything, man.
You had that one with you?
Well, actually, when I went to the swamp, I put the 10 millimeter on. Because y'all said you had alligators, and you said you had Bigfoots down there. So, and you said the hogs might run at you. So, I took the Glock 20, and I was feeling secure with my Glock 20 when I went in the swamp. Let's see, but I did carry the Staccato the rest of the trip, and in the Crossbreed Super Tuck, and yeah, that's about it for me. I mean, I got all the usual stuff, the tourniquets and the lifesaver kit and the E2D Defender Light, as Surefire, and the Microtech Auto SOCOM is what I know. Wait a second. I just took that off. I've got the Ratworks Auto Knife.
Is that the one I found the other day?
That's the one you found. It fell off when I was taking my backpack off. Yep. That'd be it. I'm glad you saw it.
I was like, somebody done thrown away a good knife.
Yep. Yeah, I was
Let's
thinking,
see.
must have cut on my strap from a backpack.
Is that it for you? For
Yep.
carrying?
Yep.
So I got the Glock 19 out here with me today, and I got it in the
Drop slide.
crossbreed drop slide tonight, just so I can show it off. And Spartan auto knife,
Yeah.
which I need to sharpen it. I did a little pig sticking down there the other day with it to put some holes in some legs and stuff so we could drag them jokers out. But I like that thing. It works. It works well. That's it. That's about all I got tonight.
Good deal. I see you've got a joke up there.
I do got a joke. I don't think I don't remember hearing this one, and I don't remember telling this one. So you're going to get to hear it. If you've heard it before, oh well. You'll get to hear it again tonight.
Everybody's got a great uncle or a grandpa that tells the same joke every couple of days. That's Doug.
If I've told this one, it's been a few years, so maybe we got a few listeners tonight that hadn't heard any of them. So hey, they're supposed to be lame jokes anyway, right?
That's right. They're dad jokes.
That's right. So a man walking along a California beach was deep in prayer when all of a sudden he said aloud, "Lord, grant me one wish." The sky clouded and a booming voice said, because you have tried to be faithful, I will grant you one wish." The man said, "I'd like you to build me a bridge to Hawaii so I can drive over anytime I'd like to." The Lord answered, "Your request is very materialistic. Think of the logistics and the kind of undertaking it supports required to reach the bottom of the Pacific, the concrete and the steel it would take." He said, "I can do it, but it is hard for me to justify your desire for worldly things. Take a little more time and think of another wish, a wish that you think would honor and glorify me." The man thought for a long time and finally said, "Lord, I wish that I could understand women. I want to know what they feel inside, what they're thinking when they're giving me the silent treatment, why they cry, what they mean when they say nothing, and how can I make a woman truly happy?" After a few minutes, God said, "How many lanes you want on the bridge?"
2014, I think around December.
Oh, whatever.
I guarantee you've told that joke before.
Have I?
Yeah.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, we got a lot of new listeners since then. Most of them probably haven't heard them unless they went back and listened to the jokes. But that's a good one. That's a goodie. Oh.
Our buddy Andrew just joined. Not hunting Andrew, but our young Andrew buddy.
Oh, good deal. Is he in the States or is he down south?
I think he's in the States. He's a college boy now.
Oh, he's in college now.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he is going to Liberty.
Oh wow, that's right.
Hey, Andrew, if I got that right, hit me up on there and let me know.
Good deal.
I think that's right.
Good deal. First time I've heard the joke, says that.
Yeah, and he's been listening for a long time.
He wasn't there at the beginning. He would have been in diapers if he didn't know.
He was just a youngster. He said he's in Lexington.
Okay. I remember him and his family came. Well, he's close by here. He needs to come over and say hi. I remember when they came down and got to shoot the range, and we got him some shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. He's a little big feller back then.
Yeah, he was.
I was a really big feller. I lost a little bit of weight since
then. I know they had a good time on that trip.
Yeah. It was a blast. I wish I could have done more, but I think I was still working at the time. All right. On this day in history, April 29th, 1992, riots erupted in Los Angeles after police officers are acquitted in the Rodney King trial. Man, that was 29 years ago, people.
29.
And here we are again in 2020 and 2021 with more riots in the streets. seems like about every 25, 30 years we go through it. What was the riot? The Watts riots was back in the 60s when I was a baby up there in Louisville. My dad had people beat his car up and throw stuff through the windows and stuff. He was working downtown Louisville at the time, and it wasn't a very safe time. Seems like it just keeps flaring back up. Certain people like to keep things stirred up. All right, Bible verse this week is coming to you from Proverbs 12, verse 27. I'm reading the Amplified Version. The lazy man does not catch and roast his prey, but the precious possession of a wise man is diligence, because he recognizes opportunities and seizes them. That's a good hunting verse for the night.
It is. Seize the opportunity.
Seize the opportunity. He don't catch his prey. He just waits for somebody else to give it to him, I guess. That sounds familiar to All right, so we're off to the hunting. Well, I mean, the Proverbs pretty much speaks for itself. You don't really have to interpret Proverbs.
No.
When there's an opportunity, take it. And then when the pig shows up in your scope, you shoot him. And his brother, that's right, or cousin, or whoever he is, right there beside him. And I would have got number 3 if I could have. So I posted a video up there of us hunting on some of the things, but we got some more video feed, and so most of the night I had the vision of. I'm gonna show you a video first, and then let's see if it shows up here. There we go. This is what I got to see most of the night. Like Doug said, deers, and these are raccoons.
Yeah.
About 5 hours of that. Deers pawing at the raccoons running around the deers. It was interesting. Lots of wildlife. Hear the mosquito? On the audio, I can hear a mosquito buzzing around the scope microphone. Like,
I'll tell you what. Anybody that doesn't have a thermal that hunts, if you hunt at night, that thing is money. Even if you don't hunt, you just want to go look at stuff.
Yeah.
Those things are so cool.
I tell you, I love it. I mean, I've been in the doghouse for about 6 months now.
Hey, look at that deer on the right hand side. He just turned his head. That's a little buck actually, because I can see the nubs of his horn starting to come up.
There.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was I got to see a lot of wildlife. Got to feel a little bit of wildlife on my legs.
Oh.
So let's set this up for you guys that don't know. Doug's friend Andy. Well, you go in and talk about it first. You tell what the backstory.
So my buddy Andy, that I've been hog hunting with forever. He's not on tonight, but we go down to Savannah quite a bit. He's got a club down there, and it's 4,000 acres in just outside Savannah, and it is swamp, palmettos, more swamp, snakes, mosquito. Gators, hogs, deer, raccoons, you name it. They got it. So being the good guy that he was, he went out and baited up for us that morning, because he got down there before we did. And Troy and Gunner met up with Andy right before dark and got in. I had a prior commitment, so I couldn't leave early as I would have liked to have. I would like got down there before dark, but I rolled in later. But Andy took you and Gunner down, got you in the stands, got you situated, and
well, he took me halfway.
Oh, did he?
Said, "Just go down that road and stay on this road until you get to the blind." And I walked, and you can attest to this. Must have been 1.5 miles.
It was a hike.
It was I'm sure it wasn't as far as it felt like in the dark with the mosquitoes and the crocodiles or whatever was going on.
It felt like a long way.
Go in there in the dark, it was sort of and you're told that there's rattlesnakes because Doug stepped on one last time he was down there.
I did.
I'd forgot my snake gaiters. I left them in the truck, and about halfway in, I realized I don't have my snake gaiters on. So I got it on my headlamp bright as I can get it and looking at the ground as I'm going. So it took forever for me to walk my way back there. Go ahead.
It was when me and Gunner was trying to find you, because I have never been in that stand that you were in.
I don't think he
that
has.
night. No,
I think it just got set up that weekend.
It's a secret stand. Now they've been baiting it for a while and had it set up.
Oh, did they?
So it wasn't just put in that night, but it's a secret stand. They've been watching it on the game camera for a couple of weeks probably, and they knew those hogs were coming in there. And one thing I told Andy, I said, I don't care if I kill anything or not. I can come down here and shoot them or whatever. You know, I'm used to it. I said, let's just make sure Troy and Gunner get some shots off and see if we can get them one. And sure enough, you lucked out.
Yeah, Gunner, in a hurry to get out of there Friday morning and get on the road, Gunner walked off and left his thermal IR light on the bench along with his. What else? He left 2 or 3 things there. Thermocells, and so we had to go into Walmart as soon as we got in town, go buy some thermocells. And I was getting ready to run over to Bass Pro or wherever it was over in Savannah and get him a new IR light. And then Andy said, I got extras. It's like, kind of extras? This dude's packing, man.
Oh, dude. I left out after that morning, to go back to the hotel. He was still hunting. I like, you can have it, because I'd skinned him hogs and quartered them up and need to get ice. And I texted him. I said, what room did you say we were in? He's like, 125. So I walked up to the counter at the hotel. I'm like, hey, I didn't get my key last night. My buddy got it. I said, can you give me a key to my room? He's like, what room? I said, 125. He's like, sure. He prints me a key and hands it to me. Didn't ask who I was. Nothing. Here you go, 125. So I'm thinking, I'm like, I hope, because it was early and we've been out all night. I said, I hope he gave me the right room number. And when I slid the card in, I opened the door up, and the wall was lined with guns down one side. There was a gun laying on the bed. I'm like, yep, this is it.
We're at the right spot.
In the right spot.
That's crazy. So, from my perspective, me and Gunner jumped up at 5. I got up at 4:30 in the morning on Friday. And the reason I got up then is because my daughter leaves work at 4:30 in the morning. She starts home. So, I figure if I get everything packed up, I get to see her before we headed out. And so we start loading and start getting stuff, and time flies by. Try to hit the restroom before you get on the road for 8.5 hours. That's if you don't get stuck in traffic, which we got stuck in traffic. And so we get it rolling on the road about 6 something in the morning, and we go down back roads to avoid Nashville. And it was a good thing because it was like 2-hour delay through Nashville. I don't know what was going on, but there was backed up construction and stuff. And we get almost through Atlanta, and boom, wreck. And so we're stuck in Atlanta for 1.5 hours, closer to 2 hours. So that adds 2 hours to our trip. We was on schedule to be in Richmond Hills, where our hotel was at. We were supposed to be there at like 3 o'clock. We were on schedule until we hit Atlanta. So then it was 4:30, closer to 5 o'clock. We get 8 miles out of Macon to get off to get on. Was it 216 or 116? 16?
16.
16. Bam. Parking lot. An hour. And a truck had went across the lanes and hit a police car, of all things. I don't know, against the guardrail. So all 4 lanes had to go all the way to the right. And police and EMS, everybody's on both sides screaming in. Get on 16, we're rolling. And then we realized that Gunner, I'm asking Gunner, you got everything ready. So when we get there, and he's like, I forgot that. I left it on the bench. I'm like, oh no. And so I text Doug, like, hey man, where can we get an IR light at? And he started saying, well, maybe Andy's got it. And I asked Andy about the same time. He said, I think I got one at work. Like, great. And so Andy came through, and then I realized we didn't have any I said, "Did you get the thermoseals?" And he drops his head. No, I forgot those too. And I was like, "Did you get the cooler?" No. Like, okay, what did you bring? It's all right. I mean, my son is not a morning person, so I understand. He got rushed, and I was hollering at him to hurry up. And, he sort of shuts down when that happens. So it happened. So we got there and checked in the room, and I was exhausted, man. I had like 3 hours of sleep before we drove, whatever it was, 11 hours, 10 hours. We needed to eat. And Andy was texting me, "Hey man, I got hogs. We need to get over there. We need to get over there." He's the whole time he's sending me messages from like 3 o'clock on. When y'all gonna be here? Like, dude, we're just getting through Atlanta. He just see, where y'all at? We gotta get out there. Like, man, I'm sorry. I thought we was gonna be out there at 8:30. And we were thinking, okay, we'll go to the hotel down for stuff. We'll go meet them out there at 8:30. He's like, no man, we gotta go now. Like, okay, well you got to go on. We'll just drop a pin and we'll show up out there. Because we got to go to Walmart because I can't do the mosquitoes, man. I got to have some thermoseals.
No.
And so we went to Walmart and bought all the thermoseals that they had and was ripping them apart and putting them together and throwing them in our backpacks. And Gunner was shifting stuff around. And we went and met Andy and hopped in. He told us to follow him at the farm. We followed him out there and rolled back up in there. And he said, okay, you go with me and I'll get Gunner's light set up and then I'll put him up in a tree stand. You're going to go on ground blind. Well, first I was told I was going to be up in a stand, and then we get there and I'm in a ground blind. Like, okay. So we were in such a hurry. I walked off and left didn't put the gaiters on, the snake gaiters. And so I'm about halfway back there. I'm like, well, I'm not going back now. And takes me about halfway back to where the road splits and says, okay, you go down this road and you won't miss it. You just keep going and you'll see it. Like, okay. So then he takes off and gets Gunner up in a tree stand. And we're all texting back and forth and hearing gunshots. Who's that? Who's this? And pictures coming up. People sending pictures back and forth. And to me, it was mass confusion because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who these other people were.
Right.
I met Andy for like a total of like maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that. And then maybe a little bit longer as we walked back to the road to go. But settled in, got the thermoseals going, all the mosquitoes cleared out, and it was a nice night. It was a nice, cool night. Took my jacket off, just sat back in there, and it was enjoyable to get out. And it was good for me and Gunner too to get out. But so all night I'm hearing stuff behind me, and I mean I'm hearing something big crunch through the woods, and I'm like, "What is that? It's so big!" And I text, I think I got Bigfoot back here, and everybody's laughing, joking. But it sounded like something huge. You can hear it breaking, snapping limbs. I mean,
oh yeah,
I've been in the woods with deers. You hear them picking through the leaves and stuff, the litter and stuff. But man, it was something snapping. Something was snapping limbs. Like it was like me walking through the woods. And they said, "Oh, it could be gators." I'm like, what? Doug didn't tell me about no gators. I was like, where did these gators come from? He said, "Oh, well, the swamp's about 10 feet from where you're sitting." And so about midnight, I'm sitting there and I feel something slide against the back of my calf. It's one of those moments where my wife's not here, so I don't know what that is. And I'm thinking, well, it can only be one of two things. It's either Bigfoot playing footsie or it's a snake sliding against the back of my calf. And so I feel it slide, and he had some chairs in that tent, some camp chairs. And I guess it slid across the framework of that and went across the back of my leg, and then went down the side of inside of my left leg. It slid across my boot, and then it went up over the top of my right foot. And it was a pretty heavy snake. So I'm assuming it was either a moccasin or a rattlesnake. Since it was that close to water, I figure it might be a moccasin. And so I'm like, if Doug was here right now, he would have been wrapped up in the tent, shot himself in the foot 4 or 5 times, and got bit.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying not to laugh. I was trying not to laugh. I just had this image of you, a snake going across you. And so I just sat still. I thought, well, unless he's coming in to sleep for the night, which I don't think because they're pretty much nocturnal hunters, I think he's going to move along. because I had those thermocells in there burning. So I'm thinking he's not going to be around them fumes. He's going to go out of there because he's going to taste that stuff and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He went underneath the edge of the tent and went on out. I could hear him slide as that material across his back. And then I gingerly turned on a little light, low power, and just scanned around the floor of because it was just right on the ground. There was no floor in the tent, it's just sitting on the ground. And I'm scanning around, like, okay, all good. Sat back at 2 o'clock. Well, it was like 20 till 2. Gunner text, how long are we going to stay there? I think half the party had already left that was there or more. I think it was just me and Andy.
It was just the diehards left.
Yeah. Andy said, I'm staying till 5 in the morning. Like, 5 in the morning? Like, I don't know if I come a long way to hunt. I thought, well, I guess he'll stay here longer. That was like midnight. He said that. And, uh-oh. I had to jump YouTube buffering. Okay. I'm sorry about that. But we were, I was texting back and forth with Gunner. Gunner's hour that he borrowed from Andy petered out around midnight. And he probably, he hadn't used that one before and stuff like that. So he wasn't as familiar with that one. But he said he still had enough moonlight. He could see pretty good. He could see, if something came into the food plot. So he hung in there and stayed up the tree stand. And I said, well, we'll give it till 2 in the morning. If we don't see nothing else at 2 in the morning, I'm going to pack it up. We'll head out. And I was just texting to Gunner. I wasn't texting to Andy or you guys. I think I might have texted you. Said we're going to be here. And then, so I'm sitting there in the blind, and it's rolls up to 2 o'clock. So I look at the thing. There's nothing there. I start packing up. I start turning off the thermocells, throwing them in the backpack. I gather up my gloves, my jacket, stuff it in the bag, and I take off my ear pro and put it in the bag, and getting ready to text that I'm out of here. I'm going to walk out, and I just happened to see the glow of the scope. I got to take the scope off to download, but I was just sitting there and I could see the glow. And I leaned over and I looked. I'm like, there's 3 pigs there. This is 2 o'clock, and I was like, and I thought, well, Gunner's going to get down and start coming out because he's done. I could tell he was ready to go. So I texted you and Andy and Gunner. I got hogs, and I put I put my ear pro on, and I'm trying to turn them. And the ski is just fogged in, man. They just came in like fog and poured in, just eat me up. I mean, my arms are covered. I don't know if y'all can see these red bumps. That's all mosquito bites all the way up my arms. So turned the thermocells back on first because, man, they were eating me alive. Turned them on full blast and got it back over there to the scope and tried to turn on the camera. And the camera, the record feature on the camera is on the top button. I'm pushing, nothing working. Pushing. And so I pull up, there's an app you can look at with the scope, you can watch it on your phone and you can hit record on there. And so I tried that. Well, it lost its sync. It's a Wi-Fi connection. And you got to go through a syncing procedure, and it takes 2 minutes, seems like. And so I ditched that, and I'm like, I turned the light on to look, and by the way, I had my headlamp on, like full illumination, and I had a light on when the hogs were in the hole, when the hogs were up there and come in my view. So, I mean, that tent I was in, that pop-up blind, I'm still itching, was illuminated. So how they didn't see me, they must have had their head dug into that corn and was going at it. And so
Power of the corn.
So I turned off a headlamp and stuff before I got to the scope. But finally, I just shut the whole scope down, just powered it down and brought it back up and then recorded. So I hit record, and then I'm trying to figure out the hog's head. So at that point, we'll bring up the video here, and you can see now the audio on this computer doesn't play in sync with the actual shot. But I'll describe what was happening here. I get the recorder to come on, and this first hog on the right here is a big one. I'm trying to figure out if he's facing towards me or facing away from me to where to place the dot. And I'm working it, I got it on a tripod, so I'm sitting there working it, and then I get that. and the audio precedes the video by just a little bit there. Sorry about that. But I only shot one time for the first hog. That audio was way off of the time of the video there. The other hog runs over. I get it lined up with him. Then he takes off again, runs behind the tree, and sticks his head out just long enough that I can get a shot of him. And so he's down, and I'm scanning for the other hog that ran to the right, and I hit the edge of the blind. I can't turn any further because the blind blocks me from turning more than like 20 degrees. And there's a big tree right there, too. So I got 2 of the 3, which I was proud of.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, the one hog got up and ran just a little bit. He went about 20 yards, and he bled out. So he was done. But I was happy being a hog newbie and not having went hunting with Doug and everybody before. But that hog was down over there in the weeds. Got out, got my headlamp on, and I sat there for like 15 minutes because you said, hey, the other hog might come back.
Yep.
I'm sitting in there, and mosquitoes are eating me alive, man. I mean, it's like they don't care about that thermocell. They done found a sweet boy, and they're going to eat him alive. They were all over me. I was swatting them, and I was trying to keep my sanity. And finally, I texted Andy. He's like, I'm going to call it good. I'm going to get out of here. He said, I understand. And so I took the headlamp, went over and walked over to the first pig because he dropped right where I shot him. I mean, he didn't go nowhere. He was right there. And then I looked around for the other one with the headlamp. Couldn't see nothing. There's all that Spanish moss hanging down to about 3 foot off the ground. And little small trees and weeds and briars and stuff. I couldn't see anything with that headlamp. I thought, I'll get the hour. I took my rifle, went up, aimed around, found him right away. He just like, boom, he just glows, man.
Mm-hmm.
Big old white glow. And so I stooped down, pulled through the cobwebs and stuff, got down there about 3 feet off the ground and drug him out or get to him. And I was like, I need Gunner. Doug said, can I do your thing? He said, I need Gunner. Can you get Gunner? Because I knew I wouldn't be able to drag him hogs out there by myself. I went back to the tent, got everything gathered up. And then it was like, I guess it took you guys like 25, 30 minutes to get back to where I was at back in there.
Yeah.
Like ever. Because, of course, y'all had to come out of your blinds, come out to the road, and then you had to find me. And you didn't even know where I was at. So I had to guide you in. And I had my tripod, my backpack, and my rifle slung. And I'm like, I can't carry hogs and all this gear, too. And so thankfully, you guys came back there and saved me and helped me pull them hogs out of there and got them back to the truck. And I left you with a dirty job of cleaning. I was seeing purple elephants and stuff because it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning when we finally rolled out of there.
You was tired.
I was 24 hours up on a 3-hour sleep before, so I was pushing blindness after your bright light you shine on me. Gunner was like, I see white spots.
That was just on medium. That's the power tack headlamp, man.
That thing is crazy, man. It is crazy. Hey, before we go on, if you guys haven't hit the like button, why don't you take a second and hit that like button? We would really appreciate that. And share. We would really appreciate that because, we're cheapskates and we don't pay YouTube or Facebook to share this stuff. And we get pretty much censored anyway. They've done throttled us down to where we got like 12 people get to see our links unless you guys share them. We really appreciate that. But that was my side of the story. I tried to get Gunner to come on. He didn't want to talk about it. All he said is there's some guy running through the woods. It sounded like some guy running through the woods somewhere around midnight. He said that was sort of freaky.
I knew you and Gunner had never done it before, and then when they split you up and put you in 2 different stands, well, obviously it increases your odds for one.
Yeah.
And where Gunner was at, it's a real good spot. That's I've sat there, I've shot pigs off that stand myself, and my son-in-law Matt was down there with us, and that same stand that Gunner was sitting is, Andy and them name hogs, and they get named for them once they get them on camera and start seeing them, they name them. So it's kind of a cool thing if you shoot a named hog. Well, my
Uh-huh.
son-in-law was down there, and he shot one off that stand. They called him Tripod because he only had one back leg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I guess gators had got a hold of him, and when he
yanked one off.
was a younger pig, and he got away, but he didn't get away with all of his legs. So, but he shot him. We were hooking him up to the truck to drag him out, and I went to grab his legs. I pulled the first one up, punched a hole in it to put the hook in.
Uh-huh.
And I was looking. I'm like, well, where's his other leg at? And he's like, he shot Tripod.
Well, so, I learned a lot of lessons. Pack about half as much gear as you think you want. Make sure you got extra batteries and lots of thermosol packs.
Yep.
And cartridges, because man, them dudes ain't playing. They play for keeps down there. I thought they was gonna carry me off.
Them was some grown mosquitoes down there, buddy.
I haven't had mosquito bites that bad since I was a kid, but it was a good time. I had a good time. Looking forward maybe to get the opportunity to go again. I know that Andy had mentioned some things. He'd been sending me pictures all afternoon. I'm like, dude, man, I'm like 5 hours. I'm like 9 hours away from you. I'm not, there's nothing I can do.
Those were in the middle of the day too.
I know.
He was getting pictures all day long today.
Is he sending them to you too?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh. I'm like, man, you just taunting me.
He does. But yeah, it was fun, when you texted me and he's like, I got pigs. I was like, oh, and I'm typing back. I'm like, nice. Payow. Payow. I'm like, dang. I bet he ain't got pigs now.
Yeah.
I wish Gunner could have seen one, but I knew you guys were out there first time, and it's a little eerie out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you've never been out there in that part of the country at night, sitting in the woods, it's a weird feeling at times. You hear stuff, and you're like, "What was that?"
Most of the sounds I was used to. I didn't hear any coyotes. I didn't see any coyotes.
I didn't either.
I saw one fox, I think, off at a distance, but he was moving quick. He wasn't stopping. And then there was some birds down there I'm not familiar with that called all night long. I don't know what they were, but they were loud. They moved from tree to tree. But I didn't, most everything I saw, it wasn't that scary as much as I was. The worst part was I wasn't for sure of how far it was from a road, and I didn't know where the other stands were at. And he said, "Oh man, you can shoot any direction down here." I'm like, that goes against my mindset. You need to know what your target is and what's beyond it. And I'm trying to think, well, I know it has to be safe to shoot in the direction of the feeder. So I'm just going to focus on that zone there because I don't know who's where and I don't know where Gunner's at. And I kept thinking the road can't be too far. And I couldn't see with my headlamp good enough down the path to see what the elevation was. There was no elevation change anywhere in there. I could tell it was all flat.
It's flat.
Yeah. But there were so many trees in there. I guess your bullet's going to catch something pretty quick.
Oh yeah. It ain't going to go nowhere. Plus there wasn't nobody even close to where you were hunting at. And, but it's so thick, you can shoot and you're pretty much good to go.
Oh, there's one funny thing I need to show. So I'm sitting there and Doug and Andy both saying, "Hey man, when the deers and the raccoons take off, that's when the pigs are coming in, and you'll hear them. They'll be squealing, they'll be making all kinds of noise." And I'm sitting there, and the hog and the deer bolt out of there, man, like somebody's about to eat them, and the raccoons take off in different directions, and I'm sitting there like, what in the world? They must be coming. I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, up pops Mr. Bunny Rabbit.
It's a wee wabbit.
I said, that must be one big old bunny rabbit. But the crazy thing about that rabbit was he'd sit there, and then every time I look away from the scope and go back, he would be 10 foot closer. And the next time I go back and look, he'd be 10 foot closer. And I would be like 2 minutes. And then he came all the way up, and he was like right underneath the window of the blind. And it was just hilarious. That's what scared off. I don't know if that's what scared him off, but that's what showed up.
It's amazing what'll spook them. Yeah. I was ready too. I had my 9 on my side, but I had the 44 Magnum in the crossbreed chest rig that I had it with me. And if you go wading off in there, sometimes my thermal is magnified more than yours is. Mine starts at 5.5. Yeah.
Oh,
and
okay.
that's the lowest magnification on mine. I have an
long
XM.
range hunter then.
I do. I have the XM, and you got the XQ50.
Yeah.
So, but my zoom starts out at 5.5, where yours is 3.5. So anything that's fairly close to me, I lose track of them real quick if they're within 50 yards or so, because my field of view is so narrow.
Yeah.
So I carry the 44 Magnum for backup, just in case they want to come toward you.
Bigfoot comes in, gators.
Yeah. Yeah, the gators, unfortunately, you just have to watch them walk by. But
I have a gator story. I don't know if I told this before. It seems like I might have told this before. I was playing a golf course down in Florida. It was an executive course. I think that's what they call it. It was short. I mean, everything was like par 3 or lower, like short runs and stuff. And it was all around a bunch of ponds and stuff down there. Somewhere Dad had took me and my brother, and we were playing, and I had a ball go down the main fairway and rolled up probably about 20 feet, 25 feet in front of this gator. It's laying there on the bank beside this little pond. And so I just walk up there and I'm looking at the gator, and he's just sitting there sunning, and I'm like, I guess this is normal here in Florida. I walked up, pulled out my wood, popped her up on the green, kept on going. I'm walking up the green, and Dad and my brother sitting there going, he said, "Didn't you see that alligator?" I said, "He didn't want none."
He didn't want none of that.
He didn't want none of that. I probably was 400 pounds at the time. It'd been a good fight. I was packing a knife and a gun. I think I could take him.
I don't know which one I'd rather see, a snake or the gator.
I'd rather say a gator.
Me too, probably. Well,
the trouble with snakes is you don't always see them when you should.
No, last time we were down there, man, I stepped over that dang timber rattler, and he was a good sized snake, big snake,
good and fat,
and he was laying across the road, and I didn't even see him, and I stepped across him, and he took off from under my feet. Of course, I was dancing, and I wish I had that video. I took my power tack off of the red light because I was walking with the red light on, and I put it on full, turbo mode. I'm looking, I'm like, oh, it's a dang rattlesnake. And he initially coiled up and was thinking about striking at me.
Uh-huh.
And then he just kind of went off the side of the road, and he was stretched out. And they told us, if you move from stand to stand, no shooting in between, because people are on stands, and, no shooting when you're moving, because they didn't want no accidents. I'm on the phone texting. I'm like, dude, I got a rattlesnake. Can I kill him? I'm fixing to shoot him. Can I kill him? Am I hot? Nothing. I'm like, dude, I ain't waiting much longer.
I bet you Andy was up there laughing his butt off.
He hadn't got it because he was back in the No, he was so far back that he wasn't getting good signal. Oh. And one of the other guys and my son-in-law was like, shoot him. And I was actually going to the stand my son-in-law was in. We were going to hunt out of it. And I was trying to get up there, which I was shooting back the way I just walked. So I knew there wasn't nobody back there. Yep. And I pulled out the Glock, man. I put a 9mm in the back of his head. And as soon as I pulled the trigger, it was just like the other night. Who shot? Who shot? I'm like, I shot. I said, it was a dang rattlesnake. I said, I'm done. And the boy that was hunting with us the other night, Johnny, he had been shooting them all weekend and collecting them and skinning them out to eat them, take them home and eat them, which they're good eating. I just ain't gonna mess with them. And
you just ain't gonna eat them.
No, he texted me. He said, dude, bring that snake out with you when you come. I'll take it. I said, I'll drop you a pin and show you where it's at. If you want him, you can come get him. I'm not toting that snake out of here. I can promise you. I took a picture of his rattles. He had 13 rows on his rattle, doubles. So he had 26 rattles and a button on the end of it. He was that was one of the biggest timber rattlers I've seen in a long time, but he ain't gonna get no bigger. I promise you that.
I think the last time I was with the rattlesnake was down at Mammoth Cave. We were camping down there at the fall, not the falls, the cliffs, the campsite way back in there, about 11 miles back in there on that primitive trail. And Trevor and Billy went into that cave and went there with a sleeping bag and laid in there. And they kept hearing something moving around all night long. It was really cold that night. They were laying in those leaves inside that cave. And they got cold and came out of the cave because it was so cold. But they kept telling each other, "Quit moving." I think they were laying on top of rattlesnake because it was the next week. The park rangers said that they had to take one out of there because it was in a camping spot, and they said it was at the cliffs there where that cave is. There was like a 5.5 foot long timber rattler, big old fat. You see how big and fat they get. I was like, oh my gosh! I think it was the closest we were to a rattlesnake in a long time. I always saw them I saw them out there at Badlands in South Dakota. Seeing some rattlers out there, but no, that was as close as I ever want to get to a snake, rattlesnake at least.
Then we got rained out the second night, so we were gonna go back out Saturday night and hunt Saturday also, and it was lightning, thundering, pouring down rain. It was nasty.
Yeah,
and
that's just the way it goes. We had a great time, and we'll have to do it again if Andy is so gracious to invite us again. Andy.
Oh yeah, he will.
He's already said something, but I ain't gonna repeat on the air because he might get inundated. I think you got some family members that might be hating on me.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move along. It was a great time, and we're gonna be back down in Georgia here pretty soon for the Iraqi veteran.
Yeah, we are.
Spring range day this year. Well, thank Primary Arms again for sponsoring the show, and other ways you can help us out. We got patches and stickers. I've sent out requests for quote for new shirts and coffee mugs. The first coffee mug quote I got back was $28 my cost plus a $75 setup fee, and if we buy 100 of them, we get a 10% discount. I'm like, whoa! You guys ain't. I said I wouldn't even buy a coffee cup for $28, and I wouldn't have no markup on it. There's no way. So we're looking for other sources. I'm trying to get American made. I've sent out the request for quote for 4 different American-made ceramic coffee cup places. I can get the cheap Chinese ones, $8, something like that. But it's 4-week lead time, 5-week lead time. And then this place was like 5-week lead time too. I'm like, dude, you're just in Louisville. You're right up the road here for me. All right, so that's enough of that. So you can buy patches and stickers. We got patches and stickers look like this background back here. You can find those on our Facebook page. We have Subscribestar, and so if you want to go to the site exactly where our page is, it's subscribestar.com. Let's see if I can show you guys that. I think I can show you guys that. Let's see if that'll pop up. No. Maybe? Yeah. Could be. No. It showed my page. Okay. But you go to subscribestar.com /God, G-O-D, -AND -guns. And that will take you straight to our page, and you can find us there. If you'd like to contribute to our show, we'd appreciate it. Then you've got the remaining, and then we got Armed Citizen of the Week right after that.
Yep. So the first one is PowerTac Lights. You heard me talking about it. And Steve actually commented over on our Facebook page, Troy. He said, you need to get you a PowerTac headlamp.
I saw that.
He said, you'll be able to see them then.
I have tried to order. Every time I go to try and remember to order, I go over there and they're sold out. And so I'm going to have to go back over again here in a second and see if they got them. I need to click on that one right now while you're talking about it.
Yep, because they do work. So if you're looking for a weapons light, for an AR, for a pistol, or just a headlamp like we were talking about for hunting, or if you just want one in your pocket so you can see where you're going if you need a little flashlight, PowerTac has one. Lifetime warranty. They are awesome lights, and there's no questions asked. You send it back down to them, they'll send you another one, and you're back in business. But go check our buddies out at powertac.com. Use promo code God and Guns, and they'll give you 40% off of whatever you're looking for your total sale, unless it's an item that's already on sale. So if they're giving 50% off, they're not going to give you another 40. They started doing that when we first got on, but they stopped that. We were inundating them pretty hard.
Yeah, we had a ton of you guys that bought stuff that first month. They're like, "Ooh, can't do that."
They're like, "Oh, we got to slow down a little bit." So anyway, powertac.com. Go check them out, and you'll enjoy their lights, I promise. Hey, Crossbreed Holsters. I carried 2 guns in Savannah this past week, one on my side in a Crossbreed holster, and another one on my chest on the 44 Magnum with a chest rig that they have. They were comfortable, wore them all night, no problems. They're just awesome holsters. Troy and I both carrying the Super Tuck Deluxe. And if you're looking for a good holster, they have one for you for just about any gun and any way you want to carry it. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross, use promo code G&G, and get 10% off on them. Also for listening. Troy was actually using his Axelson Tactical down in Savannah this weekend. He's got the Axe shirt on right now. And
what model is that? Is that the Battle Axe? What is that called?
That's a Combat 5.56.
Combat 5.56. Okay, I keep forgetting. I should know that.
Our buddy Jeff hooked us up with those, and Troy's is Cerakoted. Mine is Cerakoted. Troy's has got a bronzish color to it, and it is a beautiful gun. Jeff knew that I liked hunting, so he had mine done up in old style military camo. And it is a beautiful gun as well. And they are tag drivers. As you can see, Troy pulled the trigger twice, put 2 hogs down, 0 problems. And them pigs was hurting. So if you're looking for a high quality AR, they got custom pistols, bolt guns. If you're a long range shooter, go check our buddies out at AxelsonUSA.com. If you like something over there, use our promo code God and Guns, 10% over there also. So we just try to save you some money. Last but not least, we have a promo code. We have a promo page through Palmetto State Armory. You click on our link, go out there, find something, ammo, stocks, whatever. You want to buy something, go through our affiliate link. They don't give you a promo code for a discount, but anything you buy over there, they will give us a little love back in return, and we do appreciate that as well.
Good deal. Armed Citizen of the Week, what happened?
So this week, it comes to us from Lincoln County, West Virginia. A homeowner in Lincoln County, West Virginia, acted in self-defense when a nude intruder tried to force his way in on the morning of April 12th, 2021. The incident occurred at 2 a.m. when a 28-year-old intruder broke into the residence while completely naked. The intruder began banging on the door to force his way in, alerting the 60-year-old homeowner. The homeowner promptly grabbed a gun and went to respond to the threat. Excuse me. To respond to the threat. A single shot was fired by the homeowner, which wounded and subdued the nude assailant. The intruder was struck in the shoulder by the shot, and he was later taken to a local hospital in stable condition. Authorities stated that there will be no charges brought against the homeowner in the defensive shooting. And that comes to us from WSAV.com in Huntington, West Virginia.
Good deal.
People are crazy.
They are crazy. Usually drugged up and crazy both.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. Don't have any other questions on here. I am getting one of those lamps there, Steve. So you and Doug can get off my case as soon as I get off the show here, or I'm going to go over and put my information in. They've got them in stock today, so I'm going to get on
do they?
So don't y'all buy them up real quick before I get done the show.
I think that light's normally
$160.
Yep, $159.60, but 40% off, so it's not a bad gig.
No, it's pretty good.
And it's worth every penny of it, too.
Good deal. All right, send your feedback to Troy at guidinggunspodcast.com or
Doug at GodandGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review and like us on Facebook and any of our other social media platforms like Instagram. We're over on Wimkin. We're over on Rumble. We're over on MeWe. MeWe's pretty active. You gotta get over there if you don't already have a site. In case we disappear from, you know what, we'll probably be over on MeWe in some form or fashion. We also have a Parler account. And what else we got? I've got a Signal account. You can find me on Signal. Was it Telegraph? I've got like all of them. I mean, we went to everything to try to make sure we got a broad reach in case we get chopped off of the legs there. But website is GuyandGunsPodcast.com. Oh, we need to get a hold of what's his face that we had on a few weeks ago and move our platform over there off of Network Solutions.
Yep.
So. Till next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer.
Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it very much, and we look forward to talking to you guys down the road. And y'all be safe. Adios.
Good night, everybody.